everyone, welcome. Thanks for joining us for this month's Exo Consortium. This is where we bring the entire Exo community together, different organizations, different creators, different authors, together to share their news for the month. And we've been doing this for over a year, and we just started live broadcasting. Thank you so much, Alan Steinfeld, for hosting this broadcast, this news broadcast. So many amazing things are going on. We have some incredible presenters here to share their knowledge and their work and what they're working on. So if you're on this call, if you're on this broadcast, it means that you're part of the avant-garde, part of the creators in the world. We are consciously seeding in a galactic narrative. We're going to talk a little bit about this as we share our results from our spoon bending parties. So it's not easy to bend a spoon with your mind, but it's possible. It's not easy to see a UFO, but it's possible. And when we come together and we create this and we believe and we are actively seeding this new narrative into the field. And I'm so grateful to be amongst such incredible people. Thank you. You know, Arcturus Ra just gifted me this amazing sweatshirt that's super cozy. I just want to give a shout out to him. His med band is almost done and it's incredible. And also Krista Rice had just gifted me some incredible Oracle decks tonight too. So I'm feeling really loved, and we're excited to share their work as well tonight. Daniel's going to put into the chat right now their link. So if you're interested in the Oracle cards or finding out about Ra's new med bed, you can check out his YouTube and his website. Incredible work. So I'm going to share my screen as we do an update from Daniel, Greg, and I at Lightnet. And here we go. So I was just looking for the slide deck for tonight, and I realized that 1 year ago, we set into this intention to create a citizen science for the galactic age. And we wanted to share our wisdom together. Our mission a year ago was to accelerate a global shift in consciousness through galactic narratives. You can wake up any way you want. And when you wake up into the galactic narrative, it's really exciting because it's a new narrative to humanity. So it's really, really exciting and mind-opening. And we're going to pull this narrative in when we can do it, when we can tell the narrative, I believe, in a loving way. So if we're going to transfer the warring ideas and dualities into the galactic narrative won't land as quickly. So as we clean up our love sphere here on Earth, this is going to be like fading in as we do that. So I'm really excited. I think we're making good progress, and I think we can do it. So our goal is also, Daniel, Greg, and I are making cutting edge tools to empower the best EXO organizations on the planet so we can grow this movement very powerfully, very quickly, and collaboratively, and to amplify our wisdom, research, and curiosity about other dimensions and extraterrestrials. We're on the edge of a new narrative, and it's great to compare notes. So we have been doing at Exo Metaverse Lightnet, we've been doing research on quantum physics. So this is applied citizen science quantum research using our consciousness. I started this rice experiment on Valentine's Day, and look at it now. The left is hate and the right is love. So if you think what you say doesn't matter, if you think what you feel doesn't matter, you're wrong. It does. I also want to welcome our newest team member at Exo Metaverse. Jonah is just a few weeks old, and Daniel had a baby. So we're just so excited to have another starseed on the planet. And again, thank you to Alan. He just arrived into Sedona last night. So we're looking forward to that. Before we move on, I want to talk about our collective intelligence efforts. So every 2 weeks, we publish a survey to ask you what you think about the world, so we can start mapping, tracking, and sorting all this incredible wisdom. And last week, we talked to Sylvain about the ET embassy that's going to be in 8 years placed on this planet. And if you haven't taken the survey, you can do that at exometaverse.org week 32. We highly encourage you to do that. And we'd love to share the results tonight with you for the first time. So 77% of us believe that we're ready for an ET embassy. So let's work on that other 22. And I loved this one. Do you think ET civilizations are friendly? Yes, 93% of us think that they're friendly. So again, you know, if they could destroy us, they probably would have already. So this is really beautiful. If we can make this world here on Earth too, like this, 93.6, we'll be in good shape. We asked you guys where you thought we should put the embassy. Obviously, we had a lot of people from the US fill out the survey because that's who won. But hopefully we'll have quite a few and one in every country. But these are the results of that. USA was number 1, Switzerland 2, Antarctica 3, Canada and Costa Rica came in 4th. We also asked you guys who should be our diplomats in this embassy. And here's the list that we got: Mark Sims, Alan Steinfeld, Rebecca Wright, Costa, Ray, Mary, Sylvain, me, Trump, Dalai Lama, you know, Nadi Hanna, all these people showed up, and it was really beautiful. And we had this one woman say that she was going to nominate all the women working in the fields of science, if still living, due to their patience and dedication to science. And she listed all these incredible science: Lisa Randall, Helen Quinn, Joyce Bell, Vera Rubin. So it was a really beautiful list, and you can see the results of this if you go to exometaverse/ week 32 results. You can always see the results of everything we're doing. We also got some write-in answers that they thought it should be a council of elders, a collective, a ninth dimensional being, non-celebrity individuals, everyday people. So this was really beautiful. And as we imagine this reality, we shall create it, and we already are. So I want to thank the Alliance for Extraterrestrial Diplomatic Contact. This is something Sylvain and his team put together so that all of the EXO organizations can really get this ET embassy on the course. They've got 50 million in the bank. They've been doing it for 48 years. So it really is happening. And we're in the final stretch. There's a ton of scientists on their science team, including Isaac Mars, who's right here next to me and will be presenting his work later. So they're also doing a conference October 6th, and we're getting a discount to that. It's only 40 to 60 bucks. I encourage you to sign up early. They are going to probably sell out. They've got a cap on the way that they're doing it. We're also, our Alliance organization is making all of the money, the profits on all of the swag. So this is a great, you know, you can pick up chicks wearing one of these shirts at coffee houses. I highly suggest that you buy some and know that you're also going to be supporting our work at the consortium. So here's the link to do that. And also here's the link to the promo code ETDC2022, and that's going to get you 30% off of your tickets. So that brings it down to whatever, 28 or something like that. Thanks to Sedona Quantum Consciousness for supporting our work. And I want to introduce the final topic. Daniel's going to be interviewing Preston Dennett. He'll probably share more information about that. I just minted the new survey. So we'd love for you to stop watching and start doing, and copy this link into your browser and take the survey. We want to know what you think. We also want to tell you that when you become an EXO member, you get to be part of our spoon bending parties. We had a major breakthrough. These are out of order, but thanks to Alan again, and thanks to Portal to Ascension. Cus is going to share about his ET a map that we're going to have a huge party here at EXO Metaverse here in Sedona on the 26th. So we're excited about that. So the spoon bending results, I just want to share with you guys. We're on our ninth party, and we had a massive breakthrough where we had people bending with their minds only, not touching. It was a group of 7 women who came to Sedona to make 7 figures, and these girls, 5 of them, bent spoons without touching with their minds. And we also sprouted mung beans with our minds. So this is really quantum research at its best. We encourage you to join us. You can see pictures at this link. And when you're an Exo member, you also get to do that. So we minted some NFTs and raised almost the final amount for our development for Lightnet. So we're excited about that. And you too can participate and join us by going to this link. And for $44, you're in with us all month. I mean, all year long, you're into our Hangouts and our labs. So again, our next week on Thursday, we're going to be here with a members only private interview with Daniel and Preston Dennett. So he's written over 20 books, 100 articles, and he's really incredible. So that's the update that I have. And I would love to pass it to one of the biggest hearts in this whole entire industry, which is Costa. He has been dedicated to this. And, you know, he's really like our best ambassador. I think I would recommend him as our first ambassador because nobody can say anything bad about Costa. He's such a sweetheart. He's so loving. And we're so excited to have you a leader in the Exo disclosure movement.
Wow. With an introduction like that, I'm glad you can't see me blushing here, but thank you. Thank you, Zenka and Alan and everybody else for making this possible. I think this is the first time that I've been on one of these live streams, and I'm really excited about it, especially to see all these people that you've brought together, showing all the different dimensions of the things that we're working on. I mean, this is just exciting to propel us into the future. So thanks for all that your team is doing on all fronts, and for letting me have a few minutes here to talk about what I've been doing. For people that don't know me, I'm the founder of etletstalk.com. That was founded in 2012, although I've been involved in the ET Contact, or as I prefer to call it, Star People Contact movement since 2006, going on 16 years now, if I'm doing my math right. And it has changed my life so much for the better, so much so that the ET Let's Talk community now is all over the planet. We've got teams that have been making monthly ET contact at the minimum every month since 2010, when we started doing our global CE5 initiative ET contact events. The next event is March 26th, Saturday. Goes on all day, wherever you're located, your living rooms, on the seashore, in a forest, wherever you want to make contact that's safe and comfortable for you. Then on March 26th, you can join us virtually with all our teams across the planet. And again, we've been doing this every month now, going on 12 years, making the contact. And we've been so successful that my star friends have said that our movement now is so large that it's likened to a snowball rolling downhill that cannot be stopped. You know, wrap your minds around that for a moment and realize that we are pushing that wave into the future, and we get to build it and watch it grow in the way that the star people are watching it. They have clearly said, as they have watched us all reaching out to them for many years now, they've said that this movement has exceeded by far all their wildest expectations. Now, the movement is what we're doing here every month, for March 26th. And by the way, you can, I'm going to put in the chat here. I didn't come prepared with screens to share, but I'll do that next time. So for right now, I'm going to put two links into the chat. One is for the etletstalk.com website, where the membership is free. And if you sign up, you can get all the announcements about our webinars and ET Contact events and be in contact with our community on social platforms. As well, the second link there is the etletstalk.com contact, GCE5, the global CE5. And that's where you can get more specific information on how to join this Saturday, all our global teams making a unified group field welcome contact to all the star people. And this brings them a lot of joy as we do that in a peaceful way. And realize that when you join this month doing that, or any month or any day or evening, whenever you're making the contact on your own schedule, you are creating a ferment here, a fermentation that really will have cosmic humanity following behind us, because this is for everybody. This is the People's Disclosure Movement. And my star friends tell me that actually in 2019, we did achieve a people's disclosure. And that's one of the main messages I want to leave with you here, that instead of asking for governments and waiting for someone in authority to bless what we already know is the case, because we're knowers, not believers, then the People's Disclosure Movement is for us. It's for you. It's a movement of everybody. The center is everywhere. It's not my movement or her movement or his movement. It's a people's disclosure. And my star friends tell me that in 2019, we achieved a people's disclosure. They want us to know that. And that is that snowball rolling downhill that can't be stopped now, a tipping point that is just blowing it wide open, and we're rocking and rolling. So I encourage everybody to take on that mindset, be positive, tell all your friends, share this on social media, bring them into the People's Disclosure Movement, because this is how we've taken our power back from governments and put it back into ourselves, doing the disclosure and empowering ourselves. And that's really what excites me, if you can't tell. So thank you again for the opportunity to talk. That's etletstalk.com and etletstalk.com/GCE5 to join this Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Costa. Can you call on the next person that you see on our presenters?
Yes, on my right, it's Paul Hynek.
Oh, hi. Hi, everybody. How are you? Hey, that was really cool, Costa. I really enjoyed how you phrased that. I get asked a lot about, does the government have this or that? And I really couldn't give a rat's ass what they do. So phrasing it so succinctly as you did, the people's disclosure, that just sums it up for me. So I thank you for sort of crystallizing a thought that was banging around in my head that needed the final dressing to have that kind of eloquence. I'll say I had my first debate of my life structured debate with a guy named Michael Shermer, who's the editor of Skeptic magazine and a well-known skeptic. I would put him like with Seth Shostak and Neil deGrasse Tyson in terms of they're skeptical, but he is not adamantly opposed to the existence or presence of some type of ET presence on Earth, hasn't seen enough. And I think I did really well. It's going to be aired on April 2nd, and he didn't expect a sort of what he would feel like a reasoned scientific approach. I thought he expected me to go to Roswell or this or that case, and I had already watched his debates and I knew his trigger points and all that. And so I was able to work on his terms, and I found it very interesting. And we've been writing after that and become quite friendly, and I may help him become a professor at Pepperdine. Although Pepperdine's a Christian school, and he is his class would be Skepticism 101. Maybe a little bit of a challenge there, but I'm going to try to pull it off. And I'm just very excited. This year is shaping up to be fascinating. A lot of super cool stuff going on, a lot of conferences that are opening back up after COVID. I did come down with a mild case of COVID. A little disappointing, so I may have to try again. I don't know. And as Zenka and some of you know, I'm just very much into two things right now, passions in my life. One is a possible bridge between DMT and UFOs, and working on a way to, thanks, Nadi, working on a way to see if we can take information from these super intelligence encounters, be they off Earth, on Earth with off Earthers or with machine elves or lucid dreams or wherever, and take information back to scientists like Michael Shermer and others that's kind of bespoke and curated for them, as opposed to what they feel is all humans need to get together in kumbaya or Aunt Ginny has the gout, right? That doesn't do much for them. So I want to sort of bring Michael and others into this fold to say, okay, well, look, what is it that you want, guys? And let's see if we can get that. And if I can get traction with them, try to inculcate that into the overall, I don't want to say experiencers because we think of that in terms of UFOs, but let's say the adventurers community at large, and see if I can't sort of bring mainstream science dragging and kicking along to the jagged edges of scientific consensus. That and crypto. That's it. So with that, I'll pass it to Nadi.
Awesome. Hey, everyone. Thanks, Paul. That was just super exciting because it's such an obvious connection, right? So I'm happy to know that there's pioneers and part of the good team. Anyway, Zenka, awesome to be here. Thank you so much. And I just wanted to come in and let everybody know that I'm going to be presenting about the extraterrestrial origins and intelligence of crop circles at UFO conference next week in San Francisco. So UFO Con, looking forward to that, and rock on. And I was listening as you were talking, Paul. It's interesting. It'll be the first time I'm leaving the Sedona bubble for a while, and I'm so in the reality of the extraterrestrial presence and just like assumed like it's in the water or it's in my water. So it'll be interesting to go out into the world and see, like, at a conference like this, you know, who's on board and where are we starting from scratch and all of this sort of thing. So I'm excited about that. I can put a link down in the chat. And also just, you know, being here talking with all the good community about advanced civilizations and light language and interspecies communication with whales and dolphins and all the sacred geometry. I've got my classes lined up for April. I'll put my website down below, and it is just an exciting time. You know, it just feels like there's more and more opportunity to have conversations about, you know, expanded states of consciousness, whether it's through DMT or, you know, extraterrestrial contact. So I'm just happy to be part of the team. And let me see, am I choosing the next person?
Yeah, go ahead and pick someone.
Okay. Yeah, I want to make sure I'm brief enough because there's such a good team here. I'm going on Krista. Hey, babe.
Hey, babe. I knew you were going to come. It's because of the poster. Okay, I'm joking. Hi. It's so nice to be here. I hope you guys can hear me. Everything's hooked up. Yeah. So welcome to my little office. I thought the background would be bigger, but you see my little secrets to my formula here. And that is books. So first things first are the Orion Council material. These are available on Amazon. This is 1,000 pages of channeled messages from a galactic council that appear amphibious. The artist is Mashindu Kumba. He's an Afrofuturist who created the Wesley Snipes Marvel covers. So he's extremely talented. I need to give a shout out to him. That's my own painting of the Orion Council. And I was contacted by them in a parking lot at Whole Foods in 2011. My mom was a witness. So we started recording all the messages and uploading them to YouTube, which got 3 million lifetime views. They're now hidden on Vimeo, so to get payment from that. And I just want to give a little, I'm just going to my community factoids here. Okay, so since starting work in esoterica, meaning work for payment, I've produced 14 books, 34 oracle card decks, 400 teaching videos, 3,000 Etsy products to honor tribal cultures on the planet Earth because I'm a psychic medium. I've done over 10,000 one-on-one readings. And let me see here. The oracle deck that Zenka showed you guys is sold out right now, but she just got the last one. It's the Starseed Awakening deck for starseeds who, instead of watching 100 of my videos going on and on trying to explain it, I just put in simple pictorial and text form. So that's really what the oracle cards are, but it's to help awaken the mystic community to extraterrestrials. So my current work is bridging the mystic community, which is lots of African American women and women all over the place, to not be afraid of contact. because it can be terrifying. And there's a lot, as a female in this genre, I faced a tremendous amount of humiliation, but this has been my personal experience and struggles. So what I wanted to share with the community today is that you guys are the pioneers. So you're at the tip of the iceberg, so to speak. I lived 10 years, I'm half Finnish, I've Finnish citizenship. And in Finland, there are some small cluster groups of people studying, mainly elders who are retired, who have an apartment. They hold and fund their own conferences. So America is really the pioneer in ufology. Number one, because we have a freedom of speech here, which is a huge, huge blessing. It's difficult to get payment in that in European countries, but Europe is second. I would say England is runner up with the disclosure movement. So they're beginning to have UFO conferences in places like Liverpool and possibly London. I haven't looked into that, but I will look into that. So most of my work, because of that, has been on the internet and YouTube. My website is kristarisa.com to get all the links to absolutely everything. And what the Rhine Council are explaining is ascension. So I researched ascension in metaphysics. We have an excellent library in Sedona with tons of spiritual books. And so just so we don't get confused, we have amazing teachers. I've looked into ancient Egyptian research and Hinduism, which is what the British really essentially got their information from, the Vedas. And there's a lot of stuff that correlates. So when people say that there's a Christian narrative in the contact community and the New Age community, there most definitely is. But what I found is that the messages from the extraterrestrial councils has been, and other groups of consciousness coming from either a parallel universe or a higher dimension, has been like confirmation. So the very early messages have been confirmation of a lot of the basic stuff that we know. So like basic psychic ethos 101, the stuff that your mom told you that, people tend to forget. So then part 2 gets a little bit more elaborate. It gets more sciencey. They want to talk about quantum field theories and things like that, so we can understand the smallest particles which enable the contact experience, because as we know from the ancient Egyptians, we're downloading energy into our higher nerve centers. So it is a biological experience, contact, and the after effects of your spiritual progress and your inner work. So I'm super lucky to have a movie feature. You guys check out Extraordinary, The Revelations by J3 Films. I have an interview the latest was with Zanka on Exo Metaverse. It's really great. I have a Jimmy Church interview up. I've got a podcast with the Kevin Moore Show. He's done a lot of galactic work. We have participated in the International UFO Congress for 4 years, UFO MegaCon, Resonate Fest, and Contact in the Desert, which was put on hold for 2 years because of the pandemic. I'm on Red Pill Rapport Podcast, Eyes Closed, Stay Risen, Real Life Sci-Fi, Fade to Black, and Shift Happens. I've been published in the Sedona Journal of Emergence, The Channeled Messages, and I'm in the book called Being with the Beings, The How and Why of ET Contact by Miguel Mendonça, 2017, which is fascinating. I have to share, Jackie, she mentions the Universe 7 there, and my channeled messages have confirmed the existence of a Universe 7. So it could be that some of you starseeds are from an alternate universe. So this work is really, Zanka and I, before this, we were having a fashion discussion because fashion can be an extremely difficult concept if you're like a blue, bald-headed extraterrestrial, like beaming here from a stasis pod in a higher dimension. It doesn't make sense. It might not make sense, but it does. The Earth tribes are making contact with star people. We've seen there's a huge oppression of native tribal cultures in places like the Amazon. But then when you jump into the galactic narrative, a lot of people are very ungrounded and they have no sense of reality of what's going on here. So what the Rhine Council amphibians are really metaphorically showing us is this dualism that we're constantly experiencing. The dualism in sexuality, the dualism of the universal laws, the dualism of the causal plane, according to the yogis, blah, blah, blah. It's super, super exciting. So what I have for you guys on a tribal level is cosmic esoteric hip hop. That's to like help people get in touch with their emotions, which is a guide to the higher auric layers. And then besides that, I've got a show with Jack Roth of J3 Films where we're interviewing contactees, in particular military people who have been invited to go to portals, people who were, I got a channeled grid point from the Council of Colorado Springs. This was a hotspot in 1989, Sierra Neblina. She exposed that. So there's a lot of pieces that we're putting together, and that's really what Exo Metaverse is all about. So I'm gonna choose somebody next who's right next to me. Is Arcturus Ra here? Arcturus Ra?
Well, you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you start your
Okay.
camera?
My camera, is it not running? My camera is running.
No.
It's
I
just
see it
super
and it's
dark.
on YouTube.
Yeah, start your video. In the meantime, I'm going to go to Robert White while you get set. And Robert, can you call on Arcturus Raw when you're done?
Okay, yes.
My
Hello.
camera is on.
Beautiful.
Hello. How's everyone doing? What's going on?
I just want to say I also see him.
Yeah, Robert, you're live, so you can go ahead and start your 4-minute update of what you're working on.
All right. Hello. My name is Robert Earl White. When I was about 4 years old in 1991, along with my family, a UFO crashed behind our house. It was covered up by the Air Force, the Men in Black, and the Coast Guard. My mother was also an abductee, a contactee. I grew up in a small area in southern New Jersey, a life of being ridiculed, mocked. And unfortunately, after 30 years, I never had evidence. I found those evidence about 2 years ago in June, 2 months after my mother passed away, of a life of being ridiculed, not having anyone to talk about her experiences or about the UFO crash, including myself. With that being said, after I found my articles, I made a documentary called The Lower Alloways Creek Incident that can be found on my YouTube page, Robert Earl White on YouTube. You will find it. And more recently, I have created a new series called We Are the Disclosure, where I'm allowing experiencers to come forward and share their experience. And I put along great graphics and I really tell their story. And I'm not interrogating people as an experiencer. I'm asking those questions that we're not asking. How did this make you feel? You know, what is it actually like to have these experiences that exist? And the reason we called it We Are the Disclosure is, just as Costa said, we're not waiting for the clowns in Washington, D.C. to tell us when disclosure is happening. The Men in Black threatened my 22-year-old single mother that if she didn't report the UFO crash as a helicopter, they would take me, an innocent 4-year-old child, away from her. The true problem in this world is the privatized military complex. That is far greater of a threat than extraterrestrials by a long shot. We are the most dangerous extraterrestrials there are in the universe. And so I'm getting out there to help people like my mother, contactees, to help them share their story in a safe group on my YouTube page, Robert Earl White. It's amazing. We Are the Disclosure. You can look it up, search for it, and you will find it. So thank you so much. I'm a big fan. Also, Daniel, who's here tonight, he invited me out. Amazing guy. He's going to be in my up and coming episode doing a regression therapy this Tuesday at 7 p.m. A full regression therapy along with the woman, Sandra. We talk about it. It's going to be an amazing event to clear up some of the misinformation because of Hollywood movies on this phenomena. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We can't call on Rock as he's still connecting to audio. So Daniel, maybe you can go next. And thank you so much for all the work you're doing, Robert.
I'm here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello?
We can't see you though. Can you do video?
Yeah,
We
the
can't,
video is
Zenka.
on.
No, we can
Hold
see
on, I don't know
him.
what happened.
Yeah, we can see him. He's got two screens and
Okay.
one is the ET. Yeah, that's what's happening.
Okay, you've got two screens. That's why I got super confused. I'm so sorry. Okay, I got you.
Okay.
All right.
Can I shoot?
Here we go. Sorry about that. I was looking at the other one.
Yes.
Okay, go for it, Rob. Welcome.
Okay, so I'm like also, you could say, like part of proof that extraterrestrial knowledge is being transmitted and turned into technology. The stuff that I'm developing is bioresonance. Zenka knows, many know. I'm also the first one who actually rolls out a med bed that has healing capacities. I have scientific data, I have backup, I have proof. I have things where the patent industry says superluminous technology doesn't exist, but yet what I do exists. I have the means to capture photons from the vacuum and to project them through a photonic generator and create bioresonance in crystalline substance. Resolution is basically the body comes back into its own bioresonance, cell repair. I've built systems that bring the entire backyard back, trees grow more fruit, animals return, bees return to beehives. I have sent a phone sticker where I've put a crystalline sticker on the back of the phone just to prove the point that bioresonance can actually mitigate EMF if the cell is in a higher cell defense, as the fibroblasts, the connective cell tissue of intercellular communication is upped by 21%. I have a German company that has tested that, and trust me, I'm half German. If science is bogus, they'll tell you you're bogus and they will not give you a certificate. So we're past that. So I want to say to what I heard about the skeptics is I kind of laugh a little bit at the skeptics because we have physical stuff now that we can do where physics has yet to catch up with what we're actually building. So I applaud all of those who already have machines and things in place that do stuff that nobody can explain, but yet it works. Also, the pendants that I make on my website, ra-key.com, investigate the science. I call it Holodynamic Trinity. Book will follow next year, where you can take my pendant and clip it to a fuel line and your fuel consumption will drop because I'm changing the atomic structure of the hydrolysis of the fuel in the car. And I've tested Nassim Harameyn's pendant and many other super power pendants and super pricey deals that don't do really much on the physical matter to impress me for that price. So the challenge is on, you will know who's who by the fruits of their labor. And again, skeptics, I have to laugh because they use their own ego for their own skepticism. I want to mention a case with Mr. Degrassi, where he explained that people claimed they were chasing a UFO on a windy road while they were actually following a star. He used that scientific analogy to inflate his ego and everybody applauded. That's called cognitive dissonance. That's absolutely not useful for us. We're dealing over a different level of intelligence. Those who have contact understand where I'm coming from. I'm preaching to the choir. I don't need to hear that from a mind that's dissonant in a field where brain frequencies that I emit can't be perceived. That's like, I don't know, an ancient Ashuric Arabic priest tries to convince an ant of a religion. It's not impressive. So I think skeptics are nice. I say also challenge us, come here. We have, the proof is in the pudding. We have the technology to make stuff and phenomenal stuff work. So the science that I have, to round that up real quick, is I put my phone chip next to human cell tissue, the connective cell tissue, its metabolism, and the structured coronal field around the cell is amplified and activated. I have that certified and notarized and uploaded on YouTube as evidence. We send it to the since passed Masaru Emoto's lab in Germany. They're also very, very thorough with what they do. And we put my phone chip to a petri dish of just a drop of water. And before it's unstructured and chaotic and acidic. And after the water, after like 2 days, it's alkaline, harmonious crystals form in the water. Everything comes back to its original and divine structure. So I know I'm doing something that has a physical impact into physical matter. And I'm an advocate of, we have to learn to get out of theoretical stuff and get into the physical, because the mission of the shaman, the shaman, is to bring spirit to matter. And then all the baits cease to exist. They're not impressive. If the car runs, it runs. If the Tesla motor runs, when things do their job, a critic is not needed when the job is done. You know, it's like a critic trying to explain a grain of, let's say, a mustard seed how to grow. Jesus said it, if you want to quote that the mustard seed knows more than you because it knows its job. And I'm here to remind people that we need to be in that inclination to understanding, understanding. Our job is it to upload as much as we can into this zip file here from my oversoul into this body, so we make sense on this planet, and the rest will dissolve, because from chaos comes order, and there's no stopping the source code. And that's as much as I want to share. Thank you, and respect to all that are here. It is impressive, and the show will continue in this here virtuality game.
Thank you so much, Ra. Daniel, you're up next.
Thank you. So I have a quick update. It's going over the birth of my son, Lightnet development. Sandra and We Are Disclosure, thank you, Robert, for being here. Talking about the next Greater Reality chapter, and then the upcoming Exo Hangouts. So this is the birth. This is my son. You saw a picture earlier. This was a natural home birth. So we did it free birth style. And that's sort of proof of concept for the Starseed Birth Ranch, as my wife and I call it. She's a birth worker. I work in this field. So we really envision a physical space where we can embody higher vibrational energies and bring it through natural portal ceremony ritual spaces like birth, like commitments, like transfiguration, and like death. So we need a physical space to do that. We're based in Canada. And I just wanted to call that out because it was such an incredible, incredible experience to bring in this little angel. So Lightnet development is really big for me. This week, we talked with the development team about specifications about bringing in the deeper back end of the citizen science platform, which I had prototyped in the non-ordinary reality database. This is a very high-level overview of the whole architecture, just showing the sort of depth of thought we've gone into in terms of serving this community with citizen science technology. Here, I do want to shout out to Robert. Thank you again for being here. Thank you for bringing forward these stories. This is a screenshot of the Order of Light. We Are the Disclosure YouTube channel, so I recommend everyone check that out. I've been doing a lot of work with Cosmic Dream Sanctuary. This is the rebranded experience of my hypnosis practice. And this is a YouTube channel and a website, but I provided about 5 case studies, 6 or 7 are coming soon, to really ground in the discourse around hypnotic testimony and dream in this field. And that's going to be a theme of the next 6 weeks or so. But these are case studies. The first of one is Dan Berg. We talked about him with the Robert Freeman interview a couple of weeks ago about what that experience is. So he shares about 5 minutes of interview around what that experience was like for him. I discussed the interaction with hypnotic regression, and he has promised a much longer interview. And then there's much others there. Want to talk about a greater reality. This is the follow-up to the free Organizations Beyond UFO study. This is put forward by Ray Hernandez and the crew at CCRI. I am in the chapter, I have a chapter, Lucid Dreams as a Contact Modality. This is coming out in the 2nd volume, actually. And there is an incredible lineup of people offering theoretic and experiential essays about the variety of contact modalities. So check that out. Then finally, I want to talk about the next 3 Exo Hangouts. Zenka asked me to help schedule them out, and I chose Preston Dennett, Ray Hernandez, who we mentioned before, and Candace Craw Goldman, all of which deal with stories regarding UFO and ET contacts. So these are different perspectives about how to handle stories. Preston Dennett has collected and shared a tremendous amount of stories. So we'll ask him about his experience about handling UFO and ET stories. Ray Hernandez's UFO stories that convert into scientific knowledge or statistical knowledge. So we'll talk about that and discuss a little bit about dream and hypnotic testimony. And then finally, Candace Craw-Goldman, who is the founder of the BQH healing methodology that's beyond quantum healing, that is derivative of Dolores Cannon's quantum healing hypnosis technique. So she will talk to us about healing stories, especially with the mysterious realms of ET contact. Finally, just a really quick update about the Dreamwell app you can get to at dreamwellbewell.com. We've dropped in binaural beats, so 4 different levels of binaural beats, which is a way you can explore modulating your own consciousness and falling asleep or having these different experiences. These are all the links. And with that, I will pass it on. I will pass it to Zach, who I believe I met on Reddit and then Discord to talk about his project. Thank you.
All right. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can, Zach. Welcome.
Perfect. All right. Well, my name is Zach. Many of you may know me as either HBF0422 or Antisocial Guru on Reddit or Twitter. A little bit about me. I'm from Washington State. I had grown up Christian, turned atheist for a long while with my search for, everything scientific, everything, just trying to get an answer for everything, basically, just kind of turning away from spirituality and just really trying to understand myself, which actually kind of led me back to, spirituality. Over the course of the past, I would say like 5 years, I've dabbled with witchcraft, paganism, spirituality, meditation, all that good stuff, all that fantastic woo stuff. And it actually led me to my first contact back in late 2019. I was meditating and I had met these 3 beings who called themselves the Keepers. They were 5th dimensional beings helping guide humans by accessing knowledge through non-physical realms. They told me many great things, and to which that led me down my little path on Reddit to where I met Daniel. I've been helping people make contact using CE5 methods. I've actually, let me pull up here, I got some notes. So over the past, I would say maybe about a month, I've been putting together a small group of different people from all over the world. What we want to do is we want to use a scientific approach to study the effect of human intention and its connection between consciousness and the summoning of UAPs. Basically, we want to show that CE5 works. We want to bridge the gap between woo and science. We want to make sure that our voices are heard, that this is real. It'll be a single case design study. We will have independent phase blind researchers from all over academia. We will have highly skilled CE5 experts from all over the world. We have people from Canada, the US, Ireland, Germany, New Zealand. If we even got Peter Whitley from MUFON. We have, what we want to do is we want to get as much raw data as possible. If this can be found successful, it would be a good tool to use for further study of this phenomenon. With this data collected, we will have both conventional video and infrared video. We are trying to get as much funding as we can to get the equipment to do this. We will also have people from both military and civilian sectors that are trained observers to identify any possible crafts that we encountered during this test, research, whatever you want to call it. Let's see. We'll have all of these independent researchers go through the raw data and compare the CE5 sessions to controlled sessions to see if there's any indication of whether or not the contact actually increases the likelihood of the CE5 contact. And that's where I met Daniel, and hopefully he can help us with that. Right now we're calling it Project Contact. We don't really know what else to call it. But that's really about it. We'd like as much help as we can get. So if anybody knows anybody, let me know.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
Hello, everybody. I'm Isaac Mars. I'm here with Zenka tonight, and I'm so happy to be a part of this Eternal Now moment with all of you. So a little bit about what's going on in my reality right now is that I just completed my first book on the first theory of everything to solve dark energy, dark matter, and gravity. And this book also ties into the equation energy, frequency, and vibration, and is basically the scientific permission slip for the rest of the world to start understanding what spirituality is and how it's not woo-woo. It's perfect following Zach up on what he said. This is the time when we bridge science and spirituality together. And so I'm going to share my screen here for a second, and I'll show you the current book cover. How am I doing?
Yes, you're perfect. Sure. You got it.
All right, here we are. So the title is Unity Theory, the Universal Natural Intelligence Theory of Energetics. And this is going to be the front cover, and this is the back cover. And the ebook will be going live tomorrow. So if anybody is interested, I'm going to be listing my email in the chat, and just let me know via email that you'd like to have a copy. I'm typically doing donations for the ebook, but if you just need a copy on the fly just to get it out there and to start reading the material, I'm open to that. I don't think that any spiritual or scientific information should be gatekept behind money. It's time to start doing things out of unconditional love. And so that's what's going on with me. How do I get out of this? All right. And so, yeah, it's a very exciting time. I was recently brought on board with Sylvain Rochon with the Alliance for Diplomatic Extraterrestrial Contact. I'm a theoretical physicist and a spiritual guide here in Sedona, Arizona. And I don't have much else to talk about tonight other than I'm really excited to be here with all of you to be a proponent for disclosure. We are the heroes and heroines that we've been waiting for, and each and every one of you are amazing beings. I honor all of you. You all have such incredible gifts to bring to the table, and I believe I will be passing it on to Sylvain now.
Oh my God, Isaac, it looks amazing. So exciting.
Thank you.
It is. Thank you, Isaac. I'm glad you mentioned you being added to our list of scientists, because when we talked last, you asked, well, I'm not a real scientist in the sense like you don't have the degree and all the stuff. And if you remember what I told you, is like based on what you've been talking about and how you see the world, you are a scientist. It doesn't matter whether or not the university agrees or not. Scientists are, or being a scientist means a way of thinking, not a degree, and seeing the universe and being curious and discovering and emitting theories and testing them, and that's what you are. So
I wanted to say thank you so much, Sylvain. That's an extremely high compliment, and I appreciate everything that you're doing for us.
Well, thank you. And I'd like to thank everyone, because for those of you who don't know the Alliance for Extraterrestrial Diplomatic Contact, we are structured as a network, right? A network of support under one mandate, which is to build the world's first official embassy for extraterrestrial, a full diplomatic mission concept, like approved by the UN, the whole thing. Okay. And yes, we did raise all the funds needed for the embassy, so we're not looking for funds as a collective, but we are looking for clout. So we're looking because we have to deal with politicians and diplomats, which means they look at us like, well, who are you and how many people actually support this project? So the strategy for us is really to get more people to officially support, more organizations, more individuals, more scientific minds to support the project, so that we can talk and do our work. And in parallel to all this, like the supporting organizations and others that we think are doing brilliant work in parallel, to help humanity kind of develop their consciousness, their awareness, develop good science and good information, create well-being and happiness. We are aligned with you too. Like, we want the same things. We're different individuals are attracted to different projects, right? And so we can support each other's projects for the advancements of humanity, and that's kind of the mentality. So if there are organizations or individuals that are listening to this who want to support the Alliance, we can put your organization logo in support, and we become more aware, we get more connected, and we can support each other in our tangential or parallel objectives to help humanity grow. And that's the whole objective. And Zenka did mention we do have a conference in October, and yes, the code is correct. Actually, I'm going to put it up there again if you want to get a ticket to the conference, which I will link in there. At 35% off of the early bird price at this stage, and we have amazing speakers, including Preston Dennett, including also Costa, who we heard of before, and we are probably adding a new keynote, which I can't reveal until it becomes official. We also have John Levy, who is an international lawyer, who's worked with us in the past, who's going to talk about the implications of all this, from a legal standpoint. And we're also going to have the main organization architects of the embassy, who will reveal the next what's new about that. So this is all going on, but I did want to share something fresh and new from just a couple of weeks ago. We had a new organization that came to us, and we've been talking for a bit, and that decided to support the Alliance. And it is a group of scientists out of Russia. I thought it was very timely because of what's happening in Eastern Europe and Russia at this time. They are loving scientists that have been working on ethics of the cosmos since the 1990s, and talking about unity of humanity and ETs, talking about what kind of rules of unification and openness we should have for space, for example. So they have become members of the Alliance, and I'm very careful in our current communications with them because some of their members are tied with some elements of the government. So I don't want to talk about them so much right now because of challenges they have in Russia proper. But I did want to point them out because, even in places where there is dissonance or crisis, there are excellent people trying to do the right thing, trying to do good for humanity as a whole. And I think that is very cool. So I just wanted to point that out and pass the mic to Melissa Fike.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for letting me join you all. This is fascinating. I come from a little bit of a different approach. I'm not as scientific, and I'm not looking for proof because I'm all about contact through consciousness. And I have been able to contact all sorts of extraterrestrials, you might call them. I call them interdimensional beings because they are not always coming through. It's more of a telepathic. And when I mean telepathic, it means like a full visceral experience. So years ago, I had a full download of a book or information, I should say. And I ended up calling it a radical approach to the Akashic records. And what they showed me were the Akashic records on the quantum field and how we're at a time where we can transform and transmute instantaneously all the old lower chakra stuff that are holding us back from really being fully expanded in our consciousness. And so through the years, I've done a lot of work with people. So I'm all about helping us as humans and as star seeds, and there are a lot of hybrids even, because we come here and we get bombarded with a lot of lower frequencies, and we have to really transmute them to really be in alignment. And more recently, I had contact with these beings, and they called themselves the Ascension Councils, and there were thousands of them. And what they were different different groups, and a lot of them were collective consciousnesses. And they have been really showing me a lot about the matrix and the grid and what's being created through the sacred geometry, and how the grid is actually produced and how it's created, because it has to happen through consciousness, because that's how we all communicate, really. This is a lie. This is half truths. Our real truth is through consciousness. And although that, even if, I've heard a lot of contactees say that they don't talk to you. They talk to you through a telepathic or consciousness, through their consciousness to your consciousness. And that's what I've discovered. And what I really feel is important, because I'm all about what everybody's talking about it. I am fascinated with it, and I'm interested in it, and I research it myself. And I've interviewed a few people who are like Mary Rodwell for my show. But what I really feel that contact is great, but we also have to recognize that we have to deal with our own heart and come more from here, because my sense is, what they've told me is that that's when they're going to have more disclosure, because they're not going to be able to really be part of our experience individually, yes, but as a whole, not until we move more in our heart and move out of fear, because they don't hold on to fear. It's just a different frequency. But I do believe that we are being contacted all the time. I really have a fascination with hybrids and the new star babies that are being born. Like Daniel was talking about his beautiful child. And we are all in this together. So no matter where you are in your belief system, no matter where you are in your idea of technology and consciousness and spirituality, it doesn't matter, because we're all in this together. We're all here for a reason. And we're all attracted to this experience because we know somewhere deep inside of us that there's a shift happening. And it has to be through consciousness and love, in my opinion. So I send you all love. I accidentally put my information up a little early, but I'll do so again. And I love you all, and I'm blessed to be here, and I'm going to send it over to Catherine.
Hi, everybody. So good to be here. And thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Zenka, for having this. And my name is Catherine Chappie. I'm from Long Island, New York, and I am an experiencer of many different types of interdimensional beings, very similar to what Melissa was saying. I've had a lot of experience with telepathic communication and channeling a collective, and also having a lot of experiences with UFOs and a lot of different types of phenomena that has happened throughout my life. But I've more recently, over the past several years, been able to film and document a lot of it, a lot of UFO type orbs, things, lights, all different types of ways that they come through. And I'm just so excited about that. And the biggest thing for me is that these beings, like Melissa had said earlier, they're so heart-centered, and they just really want to connect with us. And the biggest thing that I've found in my life is that for me, it was opening up much more to my mediumship and psychic abilities, which really helped me to evolve and be able to connect with these beings, and not in a place of fear, but in a place of love and acceptance. So even though some of them may look unusual and may look very different than us, you know, I always felt such a strong connection to them, almost as if they were family. And it was a reuniting with them when I've seen them or when I've experienced them. So for 5.5 years, I've had a group here on Long Island that I call UFO ET Experiencers. And we meet once a month at our local library. And over the past year, I've opened it up now to the Zoom platform. And this is so exciting for me because I get to meet so many more people from all over, not only the country, but the world. And I'm really happy about that. So I've had speakers come in, and what I do is I'll, you know, have a speaker come in and talk about their experiences. And then we have a question and answer afterwards. And it's really been exciting to be able to open it up to many more people. So my contact information right now is I have a Gmail that you can reach me if you are interested in attending my monthly group. And it's usually held on the first Tuesday of the month. And it's from 7 to 9, and that's Eastern time. And my email is ufoetexperiencers@gmail.com. And I also hope to be able to do some different things with groups as far as having people come together for other types of exercises where we can work together in expanding our own consciousness. And we can do that through guided meditations and different types of spiritual type practices that are, you know, all unity consciousness based. And then I also really I'm going to have I'm going to continue having, because I've had this in the past, where we come together and have a sharing group. So if anybody's interested in any of those, please contact me, and I would be so happy to have you in our monthly groups. And I look forward to hearing from you guys. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Catherine. Thank you all for coming out tonight. If you want to join us next week, or next month, it'll be the third Thursday of the month. And in order to share anything with the team, send a message to team@exometaverse.org. I'm going to be putting that in the chat. Again, you are all wonderful beings. Thank you for sharing your light tonight. And I look forward to seeing how all of these projects continue to grow and blossom organically over the coming linear days, weeks, and months and years. And we would love to welcome any magnificent souls into our network to showcase their consciousness expanding gifts and projects. So thank you all for joining tonight, and have a wonderful St. Patrick's Day, Heart Chakra Green Day, as I like to call it, and many blessings. Good night, everybody.